Next up in the Columbia Noir Volume 4 set, and we're moving on to movie number 4 after the great pushover, we have A Bullet Is Waiting. And again, I can't help but feel that this is a little bit atypical of noir movies. Doesn't quite fit in with the rest of the mould. For starters, it's in bright technicolor. It starts off with a wonderful sequence of the what's left over of a plane crash, and we have two characters slugging it out, who are going to be our main kind of characters here. We have Ed and we have the sheriff that we know them, and they are kind of fighting, and they get stumbled across by Kaylee, a young woman who's living on a farm, who's English, British, and is kind of struck by these two people. She doesn't know what's going on as they tell their tale. One has got a broken ankle, or seems like it, and the other one seems to have the upper hand. Ed, the person who has the upper hand, proclaims that not to listen to the man that's injured and just point to the direction to get him out of here. Kaylee has a gun, and she speaks to the other man to discover that he's a sheriff. He was on a plane transporting his prisoner from one place to the next when it crashed, and now we pretty much have these three people trapped in the desert. They're going to have to go to Kaylee's farm and stay there until her father returns with a car where they can get out.
The nearest neighbor's 10 miles away.
I couldn't make it on foot, huh?
No. No one could. When it rains down here, the hills flood.
And it's basically a three-hander. We have these three characters, we've got Ed, we've got the sheriff, we've got Kaylee, as they start to just converse, as we start to see the innermost desires and who these people really are come to the surface. And it's interesting enough, and it's a good enough drama, but man, I was looking for more of a noirish movie, and I didn't quite get it, or I didn't feel like I was getting it with this one. As we start to see a kind of relationship blossoming between Ed and Kaylee, we start to see the real Ed, what actually happened, to hear more of the story behind it rather than just the branding of murderer. We get to understand how he became a killer of sorts, and why it may just not be his instinct but just something that happened. You also start to hear more about the sheriff and how things evolved with that, and how he's got a personal grudge against Ed as well. And it's all about the pressure pot of people kind of forced together that don't really want to be together but have to make the best of it, all the while airing their dirty laundry in front of Kaylee all the time. I kind of liked the look of this movie. It had an interesting idea of the location of where it was, and how we visited various sites outside. Inside the building, you kind of knew the geography and the nooks and cranny, and you kind of understood the ramifications of what was going on. But it just never really hammered home any kind of threat in this one. I never felt in danger of not knowing where the story was going to end up. It seemed somewhat forthcoming about where it was going to end at certain points. Having such a limited cast, it really relies on these people to bring their A game, and they do. They offer up a lot of different facets, and like I said, most of the characters are one thing at the start revolving into something else near the end, and it's nice to see that physical change happen through the performances and the information that's delivered. Again, it wasn't my favourite from this set. It was better than the first two movies. It had a better kind of control and a better kind of direction and understanding of the tale it wanted to tell, and really did push the dramatic elements. It just didn't grab me enough with its story. It didn't entertain me enough with the drama. It didn't have me on the edge of my seat wondering how this was going to play out. I never felt that it was going to go for a bleak or dark ending, which you kind of get a lot of the time with noir movies. I kind of liked A Bullet Is Waiting. Better than the first two movies, not as good as the third one, and something that I enjoyed, but I don't know if I'd classify it as a noir. I'd love to know your thoughts on this movie. As always, there's more content up here that you can check out of mine. Hit this video with a like if you think I deserve it. Subscribe or even share this video would be amazing. And if you want to give me the extra support that really drives this channel and helps me out, join the membership program. You can join from as little as 99p and it really does help. Thanks for watching and I'll see you next time on Man v Film.